Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys. Hello everyone. How are you? I'm good, thank you. Okay, guys, now I have a new story that is Daniel Deronda. Sekarang saya punya cerita baru yaitu judulnya Daniel Deronda. Oke, pantau terus ceritanya. Come on. The plot starts in Germany in an autumn in a wealthy social circle. Condolence is a young girl who chooses to spend her time gambling, and during an unlucky day, she loses her money while being nudged by an English gentleman named Deronda. During the same day, Gwendolyn receives a letter from her mother telling her that their family lost all their money and that she asks her doctor to return home as soon as she can. Regretting that she gambled all her money, Gwendolyn decides to pawn one of her nickels and thinks about gambling once more, believing that she will be able to win and help her family. She decides to not to gamble her money and return home after she receives a parcel with the nickel she pawned. Then goes back in time. During the time Gwendolyn moved with her family in Alphendon, in an old house, a few biographical elements are given about Gwendolyn and her family, and the reader is led to know that Gwendolyn's father died when she was really young and that her mother remarried. Gwendolyn's stepfather rarely lived with them, and after his death, the family was forced to constantly move from one place to another. They settled in Elfindon, and Gwendolyn and her mother start talking about marriage. While Gwendolyn's mother sees marriage as the only way a woman can be happy, Gwendolyn doesn't agree with her and thinks that she can be happy if she doesn't get married. That night, Gwendolyn meets Mr. and Mrs. Gascoigne and their daughter Anna. Mr. Gascoigne is a clergyman, and Gwendolyn thinks about the difference between Mrs. Gascoigne's marriage and her mother's marriage. Her cousin Anna, even if she is not as beautiful as Gwendolyn or as tall, she is beautiful. The Gascoigne family also helped two sons, and one of them, Rex, was supposed to come home for Christmas. Gwendolyn asks her uncle for a horse, but Mrs. Gascoigne tells her that they cannot afford it. Mrs. Gascoigne promised her, however, to think about it, believing that in that way she will be able to help her niece find a suitable husband. Mrs. Gascoigne, however, fears that one of her sons will end up falling in love with Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn quickly becomes the main attraction in the little society she enters. She is invited often to parties at Quitcham Hall. There, her piano skills are harshly criticized by Klezmer, and Gwendolyn dwells on the fact that she is seen by him as ordinary. Gwendolyn likes to act, but she isn't as talented as she thinks she is, and her mother tells her so when Gwendolyn tries to compare herself with a popular actress of her time. Rex comes, and he falls in love with Gwendolyn much to Mr. Middleton Horror, who liked to believe that he had a chance with Gwendolyn. Rex falls in love with Gwendolyn more and more each day, and Anna worries that Gwendolyn will never be able to properly love her brother. She tells Rex what she thinks, but he doesn't want to believe her. One day, Rex and Condolence go together to ride after the hounds, but Rex is left one alone by Condolence. Rex falls off his horse and dislocates his shoulder and returns home but continues to worry about Condolence. Rex's father plans to send Rex away after he finds that he plans to confess his feelings to Condolence and asks her to marry him. Mr. Gascoigne goes to look after Condolence, and he is saddened to see that she makes fun of his son's accent and that she talks negatively about marriage. The next day, Rex returns home and Mr. Gascoigne decides to send him away. Rex confesses his feelings to Condolence, but she rejects him. Rex falls into depression and Anna resents Condolence for it. Rex tells his sister that he plans to move to Canada, and Anna tries to convince him to take her too. They both talk with their father, but he refuses to let them go, saying that Rex cannot miss a whole semester from college. 8 months after Gwendolyn moved to Offenden, Grandcourt, the heir of Sir Hugo moves to the Blue Hole. Everyone at Offenden hopes that Grandcourt will fall for Gwendolyn and thinks that he will be a perfect match for her mostly because of his financial status. When Gwendolyn goes to Brackenshaw Park for an archery meeting, she is noticed by Grandcourt and they decide to meet later at the ball. At the ball, Grandcourt dances with Catherine and Gwendolyn dances with Klezmer. Gwendolyn is invited to dance by Grandcourt and they start flirting. Grandcourt expresses his desire to marry with Gwendolyn, but let's disagree. It seems that there was a possibility of Grandcourt not inheriting his uncle's money, so it was a safer option to marry Catherine, a girl with a large fortune, instead of marrying Gwendolyn, who is financially unstable. Gwendolyn is uncertain on whether to accept Grandcourt's imminent marriage proposal or not, but she is convinced by her uncle to accept it. Even if that meant abandoning everything she believed in regarding marriage. The next day, another archery event takes place, and Gwendolyn is sure that Grandcourt will propose to her. Before he has the dance, Gwendolyn receives a letter asking her to meet a stranger at the Whispering Stones to talk about Grandcourt. Gwendolyn goes there, and she meets with Lydia, Grandcourt's mistress with whom he has 4 children. Gwendolyn promises that she will not accept Grandcourt's proposal and then leaves. Gwendolyn tells her mother that she was going to refuse Grandcourt's proposal and then she plans to leave and join some of her friends in Dover. Then ships to Daniel Deronda and Mr. Hugo, Grandcourt and Lush also go to Liburn, where they meet with Daniel and Mr. Hugo. They talk about Gwendolyn and Lush lets it slip that Grandcourt wanted to marry her. Daniel, however, is not interested in marrying her and says that he would sooner run away from her. We find a few things about Daniel Deronda. He has been raised by Sir Hugo and to that day. Daniel still hasn't found who his true parents were. At one point, he even believed that he was Sir Hugo's illegitimate son. Daniel is Card's complete opposite. He is kind and wants to help those around him, even if that meant he was going to be at a disadvantage. For example, he helped a young girl named Mira. Daniel meets Mira one day when he was walking along the river Thames. He realized that she is upset and that she planned to drown herself, so he convinced her not to do it, then takes her to some of his friends to take care of her. Mira is a young Jewish girl who used to travel with her father and worked as a singer since she was young. Her father had a gambling problem because his because he accumulated a large debt. He planned to sell Mira to European noblemen as a mistress. When Mira found about his plans, she ran away and searched for her family, but was unable to find them. It was then when she tried to kill herself, but was stopped by Daniel. Meanwhile, Condolence returns to her family and finds them ruined. She tries to find work as a governess, but then asks Klezmer for help, hoping that she will be able to make it as a singer. Klezmer tells her that her change of becoming a singer or actress are slim, so she decides to accept Card's marriage proposal despite her adversity towards marriage in general. Gwendolyn is unhappy in her marriage, constantly thinking about Lydia and her children. She starts to become rude towards Card, and Lush tells her details about Card's will and how she will receive little financial support if Card dies. Card blackmails Gwendolyn into going on a cruise with him on the Mediterranean Sea, and she is left with no other choice than to accept. During this time, Daniel becomes intrigued by James and the Jewish community. He meets Mordecai in Frankfurt, and after a brief conversation with him, Daniel realized that Mordecai is Mira's brother. Daniel returns them, and shortly after, Sir Hugo tells Daniel that his birth mother wants to meet him. Daniel meets with his mother in Genoa, and he finds that his mother is dying. His mother reveals to him that he is Jewish and that he was raised by Sir Hugo because she was a singer and Sir Hugo fell in love with her. Thinking that he will be able to provide a better life for him, she asks Sir Hugo to raise Daniel and he accepts. When Daniel returns to London, he finds that Card drowned while he was off sailing, so he tries to comfort Gwendolyn. He reveals to everyone his Jewish origins, and then he proposes to Mira. She accepts to marry him, and together they decide to try and carry on Mordecai's dream of creating a Jewish nation. Okay, that's the finish of the story about Daniel Deronda. Thank you guys. Untuk selanjutnya nantikan cerita novel lainnya. Oke, bye-bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.